friends. Welcome to incredibly useful exercises for the double bass, where we condition specific aspects of our performance in short, stolen moments. I'm Dennis Whitaker. Thank you for joining me in today's exploration of an exercise I developed to separate and tune my ear to two different musical elements which are too often joined together without thinking about it. Those elements are amplitude and color. Today's exercise is called Color and Dynamics Are Different. I want to thank Joey Naeger for his generous support of this series. Joey has been my go-to luthier for over 5 years. He sculpted my fingerboards buzz-free on both my 1850 English orchestra bass and my solo bass, making them so easy to play, and his tone work on my basses keeps them sounding full, free, and beautiful. Many professional working bassists throughout Texas rely on Joey for fixing and maintaining their treasured instruments. The Joey Naeger prize-winning basses are also wonderful instruments. Please visit Joey's website listed below, and if you happen to be in the Houston area, pay him a visit to play his basses and to see how he can improve the playability and tone of your instrument. Music education students at the University of Houston have some unique opportunities. By the time we get to our pedagogy classes, many of them have actually been teaching privately for years. Houston's a big city with more teaching opportunities than there are teachers, so students stay very busy. In those classes, when we start to discuss how to teach dynamics, one of the things my students say is that their students are taught in their orchestras to get louder by playing closer to the bridge. I understand that this is a common approach, and while it's not entirely false, it's not the whole story. So I wanted to dive into what happens when we move our bow closer to the bridge in an attempt to play louder. This exercise is 3 minutes long. It has a control rating of 4, mindfulness is 3, expression is 2, since even though it's basically a science experiment, we do learn some expressive properties of sound. Power, velocity, coordination, and endurance are 0. This exercise has a simple goal: to learn how to control color changes without changing dynamics. As an additional benefit, we're going to learn some more cool properties about a bowed vibrating string, a perfect mechanism in nature. So the statement we're examining is, to play louder, move the bow closer to the bridge. I said this statement is not the whole story, and here's what I mean. Remember in the long tones video that we learned how different parts of the string vibrate with the same frequency but different speeds. So I had to move the bow fast in the fast part of the string and slow in the slow part of the string. But what happens if we move the bow fast in the slow part of the string? It increases the amplitude of the string a lot. So yes, if we do it right, playing near the bridge can make it loud. But that's not all it does. It also changes the color a lot. For the really interesting next part, we need to know 4 terms that relate to a vibrating string: harmonic, overtone series, timbre, and node. When I touch the string at the halfway point and play, the string vibrates in 2 equal parts. This is called a harmonic. At the 1/3 point, the string vibrates in 3 equal parts. At the 1/4 point, it's 4 equal parts. At the 1/5, 5 equal parts. And it goes up and up. Notice how the notes get higher as I touch the strings at different locations. They're all exact fractions. This is a natural law, and the ordered sequence of these notes is called the overtone series. The ancient Greek mathematician Pythagoras studied this sequence, and this sequence explains why we have the 12 musical notes we do today. Every musical sound we hear has an overtone series. It's not limited to a string instrument. The really interesting thing about the overtone series is that on every note I play, the whole series is combined together to create the voice of the instrument, called timbre. Timbre is the combined sound of the entire overtone series and is what makes a bass sound different than a bassoon, for instance. The difference in timbre is that certain notes in the overtone series are naturally emphasized more than other notes, depending on the shape and body style of whatever instrument you're playing. So I can't really change the voice or timbre of the bass, but I can change the colors of the sound, almost like the same voice using different vowel sounds. To demonstrate this, I need to show you what a node is. My son Max is helping me with this science experiment. We're holding a standard orange extension cord. I'm going to show you what a node is. You can try this fun experiment at home with a jump rope, a curtain cord, an extension cord, or any rope. All ropes, strings, and cords behave the same way. When I spin the cord, it goes around at a certain frequency. Let's say that this is spinning at 3 times per second. If I spin it twice as fast at 6 times per second, you see it split into 2 spinning parts. See that dead spot in the middle? That is a node. When I spin the string 3 times as fast at 9 times per second, the string splits into 3 spots and contains 2 nodes. 4 times as fast, or 12 times per second, develops 4 spinning parts and 3 nodes. In theory, this goes on infinitely, but obviously, there are practical limits depending on the materials in the string. I wish I were fast enough to spin it faster. I would love to see that. Now, let's take this harmonic at the 1/5 part. There are 5 vibrating parts and 4 nodes. Notice that I can touch any of the nodes and get the same harmonic. And I can also bow any of the vibrating parts. Too low? Yep. However, and this is the important part, if I try to move my bow on a node, the string will not vibrate at that frequency because the bow doesn't allow the string to split into equal parts. Earlier I said that every sound I make consists of every note in the overtone series. We're not aware of all the notes all the time, but they're there. And you just saw that I can eliminate a harmonic by playing on its node. So that means that if I play on a spot where the note exists while playing an open string, that one note in the overtone series is removed, which changes the color. So watch and listen while I put the bow right here, bow the string, and then move the bow off of the note. If I do this right, you'll hear this note appear in the sound. Amazing, huh? If you go back and watch the long tones video, you'll hear this phenomenon as I get closer to the bridge. You'll hear some very high pitches appear at different times as my bow placement changes. So here's the point. While moving your bow to the bridge does make the volume louder, it also changes the color. As you move the bow closer to the bridge, you introduce more overtones into the sound, making the color brighter. As you move the bow away from the bridge, you remove overtones, making the color darker. Electric bass players who play Fender jazz-style basses understand this concept very well, as they craft their tones by combining the volumes of the bridge and neck pickups. So understanding all of this, let's explore these color differences in our exercise. In order to write this type of bow management into the music, I chose to go with stem slashes. Usually these represent rhythms, but in this exercise they represent a literal placement of the bow. When there are 3 slashes, I place my bow near the fingerboard at the fast part of the string and I use the whole bow. 2 slashes mean I place my bow between the bridge and fingerboard where the string moves slower, using only half of the bow. 1 slash means I put my bow closer to the bridge where the string is moving very slowly and I use only 1/4 of the bow. And I keep the same arm weight in each placement. Since I don't stop any exercise for any reason or mistake after I start playing, I review my recovery plan before I start. First and foremost, I always keep the tone beautiful, and I make the strings go fat, meaning that I don't want any slip tones. Second, I'm going to resist the temptation to play louder as I get closer to the bridge. This is a science experiment, and I'm going to observe how the color changes near the bridge. And if I let myself get louder, then the experiment isn't pure enough to learn anything. Okay, let's play. Set the metronome at 80. Ready? 1, 2, ready, play. That is color and dynamics are different. How many tones did you hear when I played that? I always hear a lot. I play this exercise often to remind myself of how many colors are available to me on the bass. If I haven't practiced for a while, I notice that it's not just my fingers that lose conditioning, but it's also my ear and sensitivity to colors. It's common for all musicians to confuse dynamics with color, but if you listen to the masters, you'll hear that they have independent control over both. In my real-life applications at the opera, my personal approach to dynamics is to change dynamics with bow speed only, while keeping the placement and weight the same. This keeps the color generally consistent throughout the show. But knowing that I have other colors at my disposal helps me make better and more artistic decisions regarding my bow placement. For extra practice regarding dynamic control with bow speed, keep your eye out for an upcoming episode called the Growing Bow Scale. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you find color and dynamics are different, as useful for your performance as it has been for mine. I would love to hear any success stories this brings you. Remember that I present these exercises in the way that I myself have used and benefited from them. I never intend to say that this is the only way to practice or approach this concept. Feel free to adapt any of these ideas for your own conditioning or teaching that best suits your playing style. Practice this and all other exercises in this series in short, stolen moments, or incorporate them into your regular conditioning routine. Please like and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this, and leave any comments, questions, or observations below. I look forward to you joining me next time. Thank you, and be well, friends.